Hey guys, how are you doing? Today is January 17. Yesterday the performance of Apple is quite disappointing, right? Because it dropped it more than 4%, right? Then make the Nasdaq finally dropped it more than 100 points, right? Something like that. Actually, Apple just announced the sales in China in 2024, and she had the worst sales in China ever, right? And dropped it quite a lot, including the sales and the market shares. So today we will take 15 minutes to go over that, right? Our Falcon portfolio performance is 122%, right? Yesterday, after I think it's 73 or 74 months already. Okay, then for any of you that any questions, then you can leave your comment under the YouTube, or you can directly email to me by usstockmarketweekly@gmail.com. This is our cover, and I think that this is one of the Apple store in, I think is in Beijing, right? I think it's in Beijing, yeah. So last year, 2024, then she get the statistics, then Apple had the worst sales in China ever, right? Actually, not much drop for Dow Jones yesterday because then she raised it more than 400 points one day before, right? So she just adjusted for 68 points. But because of Apple, the Nasdaq then dropped it 172 points yesterday, right? Make it at the close of the market 19 and then 19,338 points closing. Our Falcon 350,000 portfolio. Actually, I want to elaborate a little bit more here, right? First, then remember that, right? For applied material, right? 2 weeks before we are losing 9%, right? But you can see that now only minus 1%, right? Because of the TSM. Make the market have the confidence again. But Apple, right? Actually, Apple then we show nearly 30% of Apples about 1 year before, right? At the time, then we just learned later. Then actually, Warren Buffett sold out a lot of his shares on the Apple, right? But the price finally down to 160, right? We sold at about 180 and 160, about 30% of the Apple shares that we have, right? Actually, our purchase price is very low. You can see that, less than $80 per share. So actually, then we don't have the cost for the Apple stock that we own, or we have just a very little cost, right? But that's not the way then we should do the trading, right? Then we have to examine all the stocks, and we should have a good future, right? Then actually now we are going to examine is for Adobe and then AMD. But AMD is the same case. We get the capital already, right? So we go through some headlines first, right? Believe it or not, right? The last quarter of 2024, China's GDP grows at 5.4%, making the whole year of 2024, then the GDP growth is 5%, right? So believe it or not, right? And in December, then she said that the retail sales jumped by 3.7% from a year earlier. But from what we can see in the YouTube or from my friends, then that is not the story. The story is vice versa, right? So believe it or not, it doesn't matter. Then we don't invest in China or Hong Kong, so it doesn't matter to us, right? For TSM, right? Taiwan Semiconductor then get a very good Q4 2024 revenue, right? And then that is what the AI outlook remains, right, strong, right? So I will analyze this in detail in our Hong Kong charged program. Nintendo, finally, right? I have the Switch. Right? I don't want to call it Switch 1 because I don't know this name is Switch 2, right? It's just what we call it is Switch 2. Maybe she has another name for it for Nintendo, right? But then don't be happy too early because then there is no fixed launch date yet from Nintendo, right? She only said that then there will be another introduction, right? Something like that. It's called the Nintendo Direct online on April 2 this year, right? That means few months later, right? And from what we can see is then it is right, bigger, right? The joystick is bigger, the screen is bigger, and then is 4K resolution. That's what we can learn. 4K resolution. You know that now is 720 pixel, and then for the lead version then is 1080p already, right? I have the Switch one, right? But not paid this for a long time already. So I'm looking forward to that, right? I'm looking forward to that. And actually then from some gossip then it said that it will use the GPU from NVIDIA, right? This is what we heard, but not proved yet, right? All right, U.S. sanction on Russia then not hit the oil price, hit the oil freight rates, right? Because then U.S. Treasury just banned 183 vessels, right? That were largely oil tankers that are part of the shadow fleet, right? So for a lot of the U.S., then those ships are not allowed it, right, to get close, right? You cannot unload the goods, right? You cannot come to the shore, something like that, right? And that will hit Russian a lot, right? That will hit Russian a lot, right? So we'll see that, right? Duolingo, right? That is software for translating, right? For you to learn the Mandarin. Then because then now we know that TikTok is very dangerous and then very marginal. Then maybe banned in U.S. Then Red Note comes out, right? But a lot of the teenagers found out that when they upload something about China, most significantly is about the 6/4 event, right? Slaughter a long time before, right? And then some negative news about China, right? Then their post then will be deleted. They just find out why my post being deleted for no particular reason, right? So then they learn that actually that's what it is, right? So they think that that is replacement for TikTok. That's not the case. Many of them found out that why my post being deleted, right? Then is it not freedom of speech, something like that? There's no such thing, right? Okay, then we come to Apple, right? We know that Apple got a bad days in China, and Apple got a bad days in Indonesia as well. Then we know that then for Apple, then previously, Indonesia said that you have to invest $1 billion in Indonesia, then you can sell your iPhones or others in Indonesia, right? Indonesia has big population, right? 300 million people there. Actually, it's 330 million people in Indonesia, right? That is a big population, right? But after Apple did this, then Indonesia said, no, you still cannot sell your Apple products here. Then there will be more additional conditions, right? And then at the same time, Apple's 2024, that means just past the last year, the sales in China got a big hit, right? Then she hit on the rock, right? Then it's very bad. Since ever then, Apple's launched in China is the biggest job in China on the, we know that for Apple, the only one thing that earn the money, only two things that earn the money is for the iPhone and then the services, right? Previously, then is the wearable devices like the earplug then earn the money, but nowadays no, right? iPad always not, MacBook always not, right? So that's the case. And Apple has the worst day since August following reports of China, right? And then the third thing is then for the AI, right? Apple will not get the AI in China, like Tesla will not get the full auto driving in China unless China's supplier did it first, right? So you can examine if my my forecasting is correct or not, right, in this year, right? So no matter how hardworking Tim Cook is, right, I can assure that there will not be AI in iPhone in China unless China do it first, right? We take a look at Apple's share price, right? In the past 5 years, still okay, right? Increased at 1.8 times, right? 5 years, right? She has a little bit dividend, just 0.44%, right? Forget about it, right? And for the past year, rise to 24.3%, still okay. She got a market cap, I think, is at the ceiling already, 3.43 trillion US dollar, and then the PE ratio is 33. Then we will talk about if that is too high, right, in a minute. But for the past 1 month, Apple share price dropped at nearly 10%, more than 9%. That looks terrible to Apple, right? We see some chart first, right? Very clear. Then the top one, right, for the embed value to EBITDA, the first one is NVIDIA, right? I put red tick there. And the second one is the purple lines, then is Apple. I'm still alright, right? We take a look on the history of every quarter, the revenue for Apple. You can see that it still climbs up, but the amplitude for the increment is very small, right? And this is very clear. Then you only need to focus on the blue color and the light green color, because those are two sectors that earns money for Apple. You can see that I put red circle that for the iPhone. You see that in the past 3 quarters, then the revenue is no increment, and for the services, then still keeping. That means the top bar, the light green bar, right? Then you can see that that is for the global, right? Not only for China, right? Which one has the progress is for Vivo. See that 1 year before, in the left hand side, the market share is only 7%, and now is 9%, right? Now it's 9%, right? For Samsung, then obviously she dropped it from 22% to 19% only, right? And then for Apple, is the black color, dropped it from 21% to 17% only. We look at some figures, right? Apple share dropped at 4% yesterday, right? This is on yesterday, January 16, right? And the figures come out, right? Apple shipped 42.9 million smartphones in China in last year. It down 17% year over year, right? That means when compared to 51.8 million in 2023, dropped at 17%, right? And Vivo took the top spot and get the market share 17 in China, right? Shipped 49.3 smartphone in 2024. Obviously, is then in the number is better than Apple, right? Growing 11% compared to 2023. Another guy, Huawei, shipped 46 million units and got 37% growth versus 2023, right? And in the market share in China, the company has 16%, right? So you can see that no matter is Huawei or Vivo, then is more than Apple shipped in China, right? And then the fourth and fifth is Oppo and Honor. That's what it is, right? This figure is quite tricky, right? Because she told that in China last year, then shipped 285 million units, right? Making a recovery after 2 years of decline, right? With a moderate year-on-year growth of 4%. Then, but don't forget the subsidize, right? They subsidize for any phone that under 6,000 RMB for 500 or 400 RMB, right? So this is not a fair fight, right? But there is no subsidize for Apple. So Apple's iPhone 16 series maintained the top spot in the fourth quarter in globally, we mean in globally, but then there is 25% year-over-year decline after have shipped 13.1 billion units in the fourth quarter of 2024, right? The company has 70% of Chinese smartphone market at the end of the fourth quarter compared to 24 in a year ago period. That is not a fair fight, right? So we should assume that Apple's market share in China will continuously dropping, right? If she cannot have some new inventions for the iPhone, or if she cannot go into the Indonesia market or have a bigger share in the India, then she is not looking good, right? This is the reality that she is facing, right? We look at the balance sheet for a quick glance, right? For the total sales, still okay, right? For third quarter of last year compared to 1 year before, right? Still okay, just so, right? 371 billion US dollar compared to 383 billion US dollar, right? But we take a look on the net income, right? The net income is bad, right? The net income is 93.7 billion US dollar compared to 96.9 in 1 year before in the same quarter, right? That's quite bad, right? That is going back, right? For the balance sheet, then the current asset is not big enough to cover the current liability, right? Quite clear. Current asset is 152 billion US dollar compared to 176 billion US dollar, right? Not enough, right? And then there are another 131.6 billion for the fixed debt, right? But don't forget that she has annual net profit about 374 billion US dollar. So should be enough for cover, but not very good. Not excellent for the balance sheet, but still okay. So you can see that I put a tag and then small spot on that. So why not then? Does she still work for 32.17 PE for the forward? Then obviously that is not, right? Because she doesn't get an improvement. I think that the PE will be just about 24 something, right? Just a wild guess. Unless she got another invention, right? For new features or get a new feature in the AI, or get into the Indonesia market, or get a bigger share in the India market, right? That's what I can think of, right? But I'm not going to sell our Apple shares because then we already get the capital already, right? No cost already, right? So we'll see for that, right? But actually, then a lot of people, including Mark Zuckerberg, said that there is no big innovation for Apple for nearly 20 years already, right? After Steve Jobs passed away, then she had to do something. Even for the AI, we can see that, right? Even for the AI, then what's AI she has? She doesn't have anything. Only is the open AI, right? Sooner or later, then she will be bid by Microsoft or bid by Alphabet, right? Or bid by OpenAI herself, right? If she is not getting to that, right? That's what it is. Then, right? That's it. Okay, thanks guys for watching, and then like, comment, share are welcome. Then please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, then thanks for watching, and I see you guys on next Friday, and then hope everyone have a very peaceful weekend. See you guys. Bye bye.